Beneath the ordinary world lies a veil, and behind it, the voices of the lost still whisper.
We are your guides into the shadows, where true crime meets the paranormal.
From chilling crimes to haunted histories, we uncover the stories that refuse to rest.
This is Veil of Echoes.
Before children understood what death was, they were already singing about it. Songs passed down for generations. Playground rhymes. Lullabies. Simple little verses most of us never questioned. But hidden inside some of them were stories of plague, punishment, collapse, and death. And maybe the strangest part of all is that children were the ones taught to remember them.
Long after the sickness faded, long after the executions ended, long after the people who first whispered these words were gone, tonight we open the veil on the disturbing history hidden inside some of the world's oldest childhood songs. This is the dark origins of nursery rhymes. We're your host. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Bria. And before we get into tonight's episode, we just want to say thank you for being patient with us this past week. Life got a little chaotic on our end for a moment, but we really didn't want to leave the veil completely unopened this week. So tonight, we wanted to drop a small surprise mini-sode for you guys.
Because once we started looking into the darker interpretations behind some of the nursery rhymes we all grew up singing, it became a little difficult to hear them the same way again.
Songs about people falling dead, disease spreading through entire towns, punishment, violence, all hidden inside rhymes taught to children.
And maybe the strangest part is realizing we sang these without ever questioning them, on playgrounds, in classrooms, before bed, completely unaware of what some people believe those lyrics actually meant.
And whether every origin story is true or simply evolved into urban legend over time, the fact that these rhymes still sound unsettling centuries later might be the creepiest part of all.
So tonight, we're opening the veil on 3 nursery rhymes that may have carried something far darker beneath the surface. And after tonight, you may never hear them the same way again. There's probably no nursery rhyme more connected to death than Ring Around the Rosie. Most people know the words instantly.
Ring around the Rosie, a pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Sorry. It's fucked up. Won't you read it to me? I remember singing those when I was a kid.
Yep.
My grandma, yep. Okay.
It sounds innocent at first, almost playful. Children holding hands in circles, laughing, falling to the ground together at the end of the song.
Yep.
But over the years, many people began believing the rhyme may have described something far darker.
One of the most common theories links the rhyme to the Black Plague, a disease that devastated Europe during the 1300s, killing millions. And suddenly, the lyrics start sounding very different.
Some believe the ring around the Rosie referred to a circular rash, one of the symptoms associated with plague infection. A pocket full of posies, possibly connected to flower or herb people carried to mask the smell of sickness and death. And then there's the line almost everyone remembers.
Ashes, ashes.
Often interpreted as cremation, bodies burned as death spread rapidly through entire towns. And finally,
we all fall down.
I can't. So stupid. Okay. Mass death entire communities collapsing, and children still singing about it centuries later.
Now, historians do debate whether the rhyme truly originated during the plague. Some people believe the connection may have developed much later, possibly becoming more urban legend than historical fact. But honestly, that uncertainty almost makes it creepier.
Because even if the rhyme wasn't originally written about the plague, people still heard those lyrics and immediately connected them to death.
And maybe that says something on its own. Because once you hear the rhyme that way, it becomes almost impossible to hear it like a child again. Next, lullabies are supposed to comfort us. Songs meant to calm children to sleep, to make them feel safe. But the more you actually listen to the lyrics of Rockabye Baby, the stranger it becomes.
Rockabye baby, on the treetop, when the wind blows, the cradle will rock.
Now I'm singing it in my head.
And then comes the part that feels unsettling once you hear it as an adult.
When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall.
And down will come baby.
It's strange when you really stop and think about it. A baby suspended high in a tree, a branch snapping, a cradle falling from above, and somehow this became one of the most recognizable lullabies in history.
Over the years, people have tried to explain where the rhyme may have originated. One theory claims it may have been inspired by observing Native American mothers gently rocking cradle boards from tree branches while their babies slept. Another interpretation suggests the rhyme symbolized political instability, with the falling cradle representing the collapse of leadership or power. But one of the darker interpretations traces the rhyme back to England in the late 1600s.
According to the theory, the lullaby may have been connected to the son of King James II and Mary of Modena. At the time, many believed the child wasn't actually theirs at all. Instead, rumors spread that another baby had secretly been brought into the birthing room and passed off as the royal heir, in order to secure a Roman Catholic successor to the throne.
Could you imagine being randomly brought into the air? Yeah.
And suddenly, the cradle takes on a very different meaning. Not comfort, not sleep, but instability, fear, and the possible collapse of a kingdom.
And like many nursery rhymes, no one fully agrees on which explanations is true. But maybe that's what makes these songs linger for so long, because they feel unsettling even without context. There's something instinctively wrong about the imagery.
And if you remove the soft melody for a second, what's actually left? A child, alone, above the ground, a branch beginning to crack, and an inevitable fall.
It almost feels less like a lullaby and more like a warning.
Keep fucking around, you're gonna lose everything.
Right. And yet somehow, generation after generation, parents continued singing it beside cribs in dark rooms as children slowly drifted off to sleep. Again, I remember finding we still have it. I gotta find it. That old nursery rhyme book my grandma had. It was ancient looking, but they were so messed up. All the nursery rhymes in there are so messed up.
To me, that definitely could take a political stance, being about the branches, but it also kind of seems about like a modern family, like you're rocking the baby, you're on top of everything, but
right.
Once one of you two fuck up and the family starts to break apart, everything falls apart. Down comes cradle, baby and all.
I can see that. So
everything falls apart. You're once on top and now you're just part of the normal flow. But yeah, the governmental part, I can see it lining up with that a lot.
Yeah.
But I had never heard about the true meaning behind this one. Ring Around the Rosie I've heard, but that's the first time stepping into this.
Right, it's interesting.
Very.
At first glance, the three blind mice almost sounds absurd. a simple rhyme about 3 mice running from a farmer's wife. Something playful, almost cartoonish, but hidden inside the lyrics is one of the most violent nursery rhymes still remembered today.
3 blind mice, 3 blind mice, see how they run, see how they run.
Goodness.
And then the rhyme suddenly becomes much darker.
She cut off their tails with a carving knife.
Good God. It's disturbing enough on its own, but according to one standing interpretation, the rhyme may actually reference religious persecution during the reign of Queen Mary I of England, also known as
Bloody Mary.
The theory claims the 3 blind mice represented 3 Protestant bishops accused of plotting against the Queen. The blindness symbolizing either religious blindness or the fact they refused to abandon their beliefs. And according to the interpretation, the violent punishment described in the rhyme reflected the brutal executions carried out during Mary's reign.
Now again, historians debate whether this was truly the rhyme's original meaning. But once people began connecting the lyrics to persecution and execution, it became difficult to hear it any other way.
Because underneath the cheerful rhythm, the imagery is brutal. 3 terrified figures being chased, caught, mutilated, all hidden inside a rhyme taught to children.
Yeah. I can see the Queen Mary thing. She was a fucking psycho.
Who do you think the Queen of Hearts is based off of?
Yeah.
Here, let me bathe in the blood of my enemies.
Psycho. We need to do one over her. But anyway, she was psycho, for sure. And maybe that's what makes nursery rhymes so unsettling in the first place. Not just the possibility that they came from something dark, but the realization that generations kept repeating them without stopping to ask why. Songs passed from parent to child, classroom to classroom, and century to century, until eventually the original meaning became blurred between history, myth, and something much harder to explain. Maybe some of these interpretations are true. Maybe others evolved over time into urban legends people simply refuse to let die. But either way, there's something undeniably unsettling about realizing the songs many of us heard as children were filled with imagery tied to death, disease, fear, and punishment.
And honestly, once you hear the lyrics differently, it becomes almost impossible to go back.
Because suddenly they stop sounding like harmless nursery rhymes and start sounding more like echoes from another time.
And if you guys enjoyed tonight's surprise mini-sode, let us know, because there are still a lot more nursery rhymes we didn't even touch tonight, and some of them are somehow even darker.
So if you'd like a part 2, make sure to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you listen.
And you can also follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Veil of Echoes Podcast, where we post episode clips, weekly polls, eerie facts, and more content tied to the stories we've covered.
Until next time, be careful what songs you remember. Keep your ears open
And the veil closed.